Welcome to the 19th video in this series, making a 2D racer with Unity. What we're going to do in this one is start off by making something that we're going to call a slip effect on the car. So to give you sort of a vague idea of what's actually going to happen here when we've completed all of this, we're going to have something which is circulating the track as the cars are, but that something is going to be invisible. What it's going to do is at random intervals and in random positions, it's going to drop oil slicks. So we'll end up with sort of the situation where we have a few of them on the track. These oil slicks will last for a few seconds before they're then removed. When the car driving along hits one of the oil slicks, it's going to go into what's known as a slip mode. When it enters the slip mode by hitting the oil slick, neither the player or the CPU cars will have control of it anymore. As you'll see, what we'll do is we'll apply a bit of velocity according to a setting, and the car's effectively going to go in a certain direction with that velocity, and it's going to spin at the same time. It's all going to be quite quick, but the effect should be as it hits a slick, it's basically going to carry on more or less in the direction it was going in and spin round. Once it's finished, the CPU or the player will get control of the car again and can carry on driving as normal. Now to get this up and running, we've actually got quite a few things to do, and we're not going to do it all in one video. So we need to be able to make the car spin, so have this spin state. That's what we're going to do in this video. Now it's pretty straightforward doing this, and we'll make a scriptable object so we can also configure different types of spin states. The one slight thing we have to be careful of with the spin state is that we could spin and actually go into the edge of the track. So back in the track view here, if the car slips through an oil slick and then hits the boundary here, we need to make sure that we get the bounce actually happening even if the car was already slipping, and then when it comes back out and finishes the bounce, then it carries on its merry way, or it's really unlucky and lands back on an oil slick and slips off in the other direction. Either way, we need to be a little bit careful with managing how the bounce and the slip are being handled. So this video, we're going to set up this spin state, and we'll use a key press actually to basically make the player car spin so we can make sure everything's working. Once that's done, we can then build up our oil slicks. They're basically going to be simple prefabs with some collisions on them, and we'll build up something that we're going to call the dropper or the oil dropper, which is going to drive invisibly around the track, dropping these oil slicks at random intervals. When we do this, we're also going to implement something called object pulling. If you haven't heard of that, you're going to see it's really useful. So it'll apply to the oil slick. So let's imagine the dropper starts moving at the start of the race, and it drops an oil slick, then it drops another one, then it drops a third one. And now the first one will probably be removed from the track because they're only going to last a few seconds. What we'll do with object pulling is rather than actually getting rid of this first one, we'll simply deactivate it. And then when the dropper needs a new one, rather than having to make another one, it can simply reuse the one that was deactivated. If you've never seen this before, it's something that's really useful to know in your games. Not so much really for our oil slicks here because we don't have too many, but if you have games like space shooters where you could have thousands of bullets and things being instantiated over the course of a few minutes of gameplay, it becomes really, really useful and can save on a lot of performance issues. So we have a few videos to set all this up, and we'll start off, as I said in this one, with this spin state. So back inside Unity, to prepare for this, I'm going to select these three cars and delete them, actually. And then select the car that we have here and remove the CPU car movement. Let's add a component, and we'll add the player car movement onto this and select the player movement stats. Now to be able to test out our spinning, it would be nice actually to have a key we can press to induce the spin. So if we go into the inputs in our assets here and double click on the game input actions, and this is really purely for test, we'll just add it, if that's okay with you, straight into the car actions. I'll click the plus here and we'll just call this test. Action type is a button. Down here then we can make a binding, and then we'll listen. I'm going to use the T key on the keyboard in my case. Then at the top here we can save the asset, and in doing so we get some red down the bottom here, but that's because we've added something now into the interface and we're not implementing it inside the code, so we need to go and fix that. So I'll close this down. Let's double click on our game input, and then in VS Code we also get the red line because we've not implemented this, so we can click and we can implement the interface. That should hopefully have dropped us somewhere down here. Here we are. We've got the on test. So let's scroll up here then, and we'll add another action in here, and we'll call this test pressed. And then down the bottom here, we can say if context started, and we can invoke then our test pressed. And rather handily here now, anywhere throughout the application where we want to quickly test something out, we can simply hook ourselves up to the on test, and then we can do whatever we need to do. In the case of this video, it'll be making the car slip. To make the car slip though, we need a couple of things. We need a slipping state. So while we're here, let's go to the CarCore, and after the bouncing, let's add in slipping here. And then much like the car bounce here, we're going to add a component that's dedicated to managing the car slip. So let's go back into Unity. So back inside Unity then, what we can do is select the car. Let's go into the prefab for the car here. And down the bottom right hand side, we can add a component, and we'll add here then a new script. And we'll call this one CarSlip, create an add, and then we can go into car and we can save it inside car. So I'll do Control S to save, and then let's double click on our CarSlip. So inside here, some of the code is going to be quite similar to the car bounce that we have here. So let's grab these two from the top and put these here. They're going to be required components. Then what we can also do is grab hold of the core and the motor here, or grab hold of, sorry, add a couple of private variables. To grab hold of them, we're actually going to do it down inside the awake here. So grab hold of this awake, copy this and paste this into here. We don't need the update. We need the start at the moment as well. If we need it, we can add it in later. And we don't have any settings or anything like that. So not yet anyway. We will do, but we can delete this because we don't need it. Okay, then what we'll do is inside the enable and disable is we'll hook ourselves up to the input. Let's go to player car movements actually, because we've probably done something very similar here. We're doing that inside the start here, are we? All right, then we'll follow the same pattern here. So I'm going to take both of these then from the player input, then go into the CarSlip, and we're going to hook ourselves up to those inputs as well. So we did need the start after all. So we'll put this warning in here and then delete this. Then we want game input instance dot, and in this case it's the test pressed, and we can have on test pressed. Then delete this line from here, and then I'll take this one from here and put this in here, and we want the subtraction. We can click here and we can implement this method. What's rather handy about this test key is we can now use this anywhere throughout our program that we want to, in this case just to make a spin. So I'll save that. Let's go back to the car bounce. So the way things are working with the car bounce at the moment is we invoke this public function here called hit boundary. If I go to the search and actually search for that, we can see that's actually on the track here. So that's detecting the hit for us. That seems like a while ago since we've seen this. And we get the car bounce component, and then we invoke the hit boundary down here. So it's going to be a similar kind of setup with the CarSlip. So I'll close down the track, go back here. Let's go to the CarSlip. We'll make a new public function called hit oil. Now eventually this will actually be invoked from an oil slick when we've actually hit the oil slick. But now we're going to invoke it directly from our test press. We'll put this up here. And now we need to be a little bit careful with the states. Let's go back to the car bounce here. We've got this one here with the car state bouncing. Let's copy this. We need to do a similar thing. So if we're slipping, then we want to return. But also we're going to return if we're bouncing. We don't want these to be conflicting together. Otherwise we're going to end up with some very strange behavior. So by doing this, we're saying sort of the master of these effects, if you like, is bouncing. So if we're bouncing, we can't slip. We will, however, be able to bounce if we're slipping, as you'll see, so that we still bounce back into the track rather than just slide off the track. That comes later though. For now, what I'd like to do is just set the motor velocity to 0. Then we can get hold of the core dot and change state to slipping. So what should happen now, when we press our test key, we should basically just come to a halt, and we'll never be able to drive again because we've gone into the slipping state, and at the moment we can't get out of it. Let's test this out though. So in Unity then, come out of the prefab here, and let's run the application, and then start the race. And I've got my other hand on the T key here, so I can drive and press T and I come straight to a stop. Good. Okay, so we're now stopped. We've changed our state, and I'm never able to drive again, but that's by design, if you like, at the moment, because we can't actually come out of the slipping state. The main thing is we did grab control of it there, and we're no longer able to move the car. So I'll press stop. So now it's trying to implement the slip. The way we're going to do this is by making a scriptable object called CarSlipSettings. That's going to have a slip duration, rotation per second, and speed range. We can then use this to customize the slip behavior of different cars if we want to anyway. So the way it's going to work is the car is going to come across an oil slick, and it's going to be facing in any arbitrary direction. It depends what's going on the track. When it then hits the oil slick, we're going to calculate from our speed range a speed. And what we're then going to do is carry on at that calculated speed in the direction that we're facing. We're going to rotate at the rotations per second speed that's set, and we're going to carry on in that direction for the slip duration. And the motor's velocity will be 0, so it won't be controlling anything. Effectively, we'll have no control of the car at all. And the effect actually, as long as we set it up correctly, or I do anyway, is actually quite nice. Let's imagine we were wanting to go around a corner and we hit the oil slick. Instead of turning, we actually end up just sort of sliding straight on and spinning, and it does end up looking quite nice. So we're going to create these variables in our scriptable object and then set up the slip inside the CarSlip. So let's go into our scripts here, scriptable objects. We can right click and we'll do create and scripting and scriptable object script, and that can be CarSlipSettings SO. And wait for Unity to finish whirring away. Then we can double click on this. So in Unity then we can have our slip duration, and we'll also then have our slip rotation per second. Then we want the slip speed range, which is a vector2, and we can add our accessors for this as well. So we'll have a public, and that's going to be a float. Then we're going to have the slip duration, and that's going to return the slip duration, except that needs to be a capital S, and we can drop in the other two as well. And that's a vector2. Okay, so that's the SO setup. Let's go into the CarSlip. So at the top here then, what we want, very similar to car bounce actually, is to get hold of a serialized field. So I'll do this, go to CarSlip and drop this in here. And here we want the CarSlip settings, and we'll call this slip settings. Now, did we behave ourselves in car bounce? Yes, in the awake here. Okay, we'll do the same check in the CarSlip as well. So here for the CarSlip settings, sorry, the slip settings, we can double check that we have these as well. If we don't, then we'll just disable and we know something's gone wrong. So for the slip to work, what we need to do is we need to understand from our slip settings our speed, which we're going to pick at random. And we also need to make sure we know which direction we're going in, because once we're rotating, we obviously can't then go in the direction we're facing. So we'll make a new private vector2 called slip direction. Then we'll make a private float slip speed. And we need to keep track of how long we've been sliding for. So we'll make a private float elapsed. Now we can use these inside the hit oil. Here we are. So before we change the velocity and the state, Let's get our slip direction. That's going to be our transform.right. Then our slip speed. It's going to be equal to random.range. And then we're going to have our slipsettings.slipspeedrange.x and then to y. Now I was expecting red lines here. Let's just check at the top. Interesting. I don't know where that has come from, so I'm going to delete that. But I did wonder if we had using system at the top here. I don't seem to, so I've just got Unity engine. So no red lines here. If you've got red lines here, it might be because you have it using system at the top here, so it doesn't know which one is which. So you can remove it from there, just leave that, and you shouldn't have any more red lines. So we have our direction and we have our speed. The last thing we need to do is reset the elapsed time to 0.0f. Now we're ready to go. Now, if we ran this as it is, nothing would actually happen because we're simply just setting things up and changing the state. The action is going to happen in the fixed update. So let's add that in. So we'll do private void and fixed update. Inside here, if we're not slipping, then we want to ignore this. So let's get hold of this, go inside here, and if the state is not equal to slipping, then we'll ignore. Otherwise, we can get hold of the delta time. So we'll say float d is equal to time.fixedDeltaTime, and we'll increment our elapsed time. Now we can update our position. So we'll say that our transform.position, and that's going to be plus equals. And the slip direction here is a vector 2. So what we'll do is we'll cast this as a vector 3. And then we can take our slip direction multiplied by then our slip speed multiplied by delta time. Then we can rotate ourselves. So we'll do transform.rotate. And that's going to be 0f, 0f. We rotate around the z index with our slip settings dot slip rotation per second multiplied by dt. And then finally, what we need to do is bail out of this once we've been slipping for so long. So we'll say that then if our current elapsed time is greater than our slip setting slip duration, then we'll set the motor velocity to 0. Should be anyway, but we'll set it to 0 and we can change state to driving. And breathe. That should be everything we need now to actually slip when we press our test key. We need some settings. So let's go back into the Unity IDE. And then back in the IDE, I'm going to select the data folder here. And we've got car, and let's move this up and I'll right click, create scriptable objects, and we have the car slip settings, and I'll call this car default slip. Then on the right hand side we can have the slip duration. Maybe we can make it 2 seconds. The rotations here we can make it maybe 360, and then the speed range, let's just do 1 to 2 for now. I've really no idea how this is going to look, and obviously we can tweak this anyway. So I'll save that one. Then we can go back to our car here, and on the car slip, what we can do is get hold of our default car slip. All right then, I'll move this down a little bit, and here comes the big moment. So I'm going to run the application. Do we get any red first of all? We haven't done so far. The game has started, we still don't. So I'm going to start the race, and then set off and press T. Yay, we spin. Okay, it's too long and not and too fast and too far if you like, but it did work. So we spin or we bounce. Let's go back this way and spin. There we go. That's worked really well. Now what I want to do actually is spin into a wall. Then we'll speed everything up. So let's go here and press T. And we bounce back and we should recover. Excellent. That's the thing that if you're not careful can cause real problems, because you can end up sort of going outside the track whilst you're slipping, and then everything ends up a bit of a mess, but that's not happening there. Cool. So I'll do that once more. Okay, recovered and then hit there. Right, so these settings are a bit of a mess though, aren't they? So let's have a look at the car default slip. So we want to be much higher, I think, in the speed here. So I'll do something maybe 3 to 4 for the range here. The rotations per second, well, we want the duration actually of the slip to be a lot less, don't we? So we'll do 0.5. In fact, I might do 0.3 here. And the rotations per second, I'll put that at 720. So let's try this again. So I'll start the race and drive and then slip. Okay, that's a little bit short now, but we're already looking a lot more like a slip if we hit some oil. That's pretty good, actually. It's not too bad. All right, then, so I'm going to stop that. I'm actually going to fade out and play around a little bit with these settings here and be right back with something that I think spins a little bit more, maybe goes a little bit further. Okay, so I'm back after a little bit of playing around. So I found a duration of around half a second, and then the rotation at around 1440 and range 2 to 3 seemed actually all right. So I'm going to drive forward and just hit spin here. That's actually not too bad, I don't think. Obviously, we can tweak and make different profiles for the spin, but that looks pretty good. So as we're driving around the track later on, if we come across an oil slick, or indeed the computer player comes across an oil slip, that will happen, which is quite cool. All right then, so I'm going to close that down, or stop that, should I say. With that done, I think that's a good place to stop this particular video. What we need now is something to slip on. So in the next video, we're going to work on the oil slick itself. As ever, thanks very much for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and comments, questions, welcome as always on YouTube. See you in the next one.